This video is about a terrible mistake that I made, and it's about these two devices. Well, I thought there was no going back after living with the iPad mini for over 4 years now, but yeah, I've switched to the iPad Pro. You're probably wondering why. If you've been following the channel for a while now, you'll know that I've spent the last 4 years evangelizing about the 6th gen iPad mini. But a few months ago, I began a sordid, dirty affair with the faster, shinier 11-inch iPad Pro. This is my confession, and I'm going to explain to you my reasons behind my infidelity, what I've learned, and hopefully by the end of the video, you can be the judge of whether I've made the right call. I actually convinced myself that I didn't want this. In fact, I made an entire video in which I said that most people shouldn't buy this one. So why did I buy it in the first place? When the early reviews came out and it was really clear from WWDC that Apple were clearly not going to do anything drastic to iPad software to take advantage of their fastest, most powerful chip ever, I posted a comment here on Tom the Tech Chap's video where I said,
one comment on my first impressions video said it was like putting a V12 engine in a Ford Fiesta. I quite like that.
Yeah, he kind of misquoted me there, but we'll let him off, eh? I just couldn't get that metaphor out of my head. Yes, it's a ludicrous idea and no one should own one, and yet, just think about it for a moment. What if you had a Ford Fiesta with a jet engine in? You'd just have to take it out for at least one spin around the block, wouldn't you? Just so that you could feel and see for yourself exactly how ludicrous it was. Well, that's what happened. Curiosity got the better of me. And the iPad arrived and I felt how light it was and I saw how bright it was, and then I witnessed exactly how fast it was. And yeah, it's kind of made me fall in love with using iPads all over again. Firstly, we need to talk about the fact that the latest generation iPad mini came out in September 2021. And in case you're like me and you think that 2021 was about last year, that was almost 3 years ago alongside all the iPhone 13 models. In normal time, that isn't very long, but in tech years, it might as well be decades. The usual 2-year development cycle for non-iPhone Apple products has fallen way off in the case of this model. And that's a bit of a red flag. Adding to that, in this year's big iPad reveal, Tim Cook talked about the iPad lineup and showed an image of all the new models and then just referred to the iPad mini almost as an afterthought. Now, a month later, they did show a full iPad lineup with the mini included, but red flag number 2, it's not looking very good. And then looking at the sales breakdowns over the years, the iPad mini represents the lowest percentage of iPads sold, even though in 2023, it almost doubled its sales as a percentage. That's a hat trick for the red flags, by the way, if you were keeping count. Now, all of this tells me 2 big things. Firstly, Apple does not have a good reason to prioritize this model, which is a great shame because us mini fans love that pocketable, notebook-sized form factor. And Apple have made it crystal clear that their M series models are going to get all the love and upgrades when it comes to Apple Intelligence features, which looks set to be a bit of a game changer when it comes to actually using an iPad day to day. Unless Apple pull out a surprise reveal this year with an M series iPad mini, I do worry that this is the last iPad mini we'll see in the wild. I hope it isn't though. Now, speaking of things that I've learned, I wanted to talk to you about Skillshare, who are sponsoring this week's video. And not many people can say this, but Skillshare actually changed my life. About 3 years ago, I was watching an Ali Abdaal video where he mentioned this course, and I signed up, I did the course, and it pretty much taught me everything I needed to know about the basics of editing videos as a complete newbie. Not long afterwards, I started this channel, started posting videos, I eventually quit my job, and yeah, I do this now. And of course, your learning doesn't ever stop. Just lately, I've been wanting to learn more about using Procreate to create digital art on my iPad, and with the classes that I found on Skillshare, it's been really easy. They also have these new learning pathways, which are curated collections of classes that allow you to chain one course to another and then move from beginner to intermediate to mastery with an obvious journey laid out for you. And by the way, if you haven't heard of Skillshare, it's the largest online learning community for creatives with literally thousands of classes available, led by experts in their industry like film, design, productivity, and more. If you're wanting to take your career, skills, passions, or side hustles to the next level, there's bound to be something on here that can help. And you normally just get 7 days to try out Skillshare, but I've worked with the team to make sure the first 500 people to join using my link will receive a whole month's trial absolutely free. So the only real question is, how much new learning can you pack in to the next 30 days? Check out my Skillshare link in the description or scan this code over here and find out. I went fully digital with my note-taking many years ago, and one of my favourite uses for my iPad is keeping all my notes in order. And the only real way to do that is with the Apple Pencil. So I picked up the new Apple Pencil Pro to accompany the iPad Pro, and part of me kind of resented that I had to buy an entire new writing tool just to get it to work with my new iPad, but you know, Apple's gonna Apple. Anyway, it turns out the new pencil is full of really awesome tricks that my older second-gen pencil couldn't really do. Things like the hover feature, being able to add it to my Find My items, and also the little squeezy haptic feedback command, which then opens up a set of little drawing tools without having to move your pencil away from where you are. My problem is that I can't use my old pencil with the new iPad, and I can't use this new pencil with my old iPad mini, so I'm a bit stuck there, you know, unless I go all in on iPad Pro. There's absolutely no getting away from it. This palmable form factor of the iPad mini is just irresistible. You can literally put it in your pocket if you want to take it on the go with you. But that doesn't mean the iPad Pro isn't portable, especially in this new thinner, lighter size. And even with the new Magic Keyboard attached, it's pretty easy to hold one-handed. And if I ever need to go demolish some emails or do some coffee shop cruising, I can just hold this like a notepad under my arm and I'm all good. Also, it's really compact. I recently went away on a family holiday and thought I'd leave my MacBook behind, and yeah, the iPad Pro easily covered me for the 10 days that we were away. Also, I can confirm it does fit on one of those tiny airline tray tables without any issues, unlike my 14-inch laptop. I would love to be able to tell you about the power limits on the new iPad Pro, but to be honest, I just can't. If we go back to the car metaphor, it's like owning that Ford Fiesta with the jet engine, but only being able to drive it around at about 30 or 40 miles an hour because of the constraints of the iPad operating system. It definitely drives, and you know it goes fast, but I can't open it up and slam on the accelerator just yet. I have experimented with some resource-intensive tasks like video editing on the iPad version of Final Cut, which, by the way, my iPad mini definitely could not handle, but it feels a bit like that's a solution looking for a problem. Now, I don't know any other creators who use Final Cut Pro for iPad as their main video editing solution, so I'll probably be sticking to my computer for that particular task for now. When Apple Intelligence arrives later this year, we might be able to really put this thing through its paces, so yeah, watch this space. I've come to a big realization over the last couple of weeks. Multitasking just isn't going to work on an iPad, ever. And I think I'm okay with that. And the reason I'm okay about that is that firstly, I'd rather work on a screen that looks like this rather than this, and also sometimes single tasking is the best way forward. You can't actually do more than one task at a time anyway. Have you ever tried reading a book whilst watching a TV show? It's just not possible. In fact, task switching when we're working has been shown to cost us up to 40% in productivity compared to just doing one focused task at a time. So that's kind of how I'm treating this iPad Pro. It's a great tool for design work, writing, emails, browsing, and photo editing. And if you just let it do one of those things at a time, it can do those tasks fast. And I mean, jet engine strapped to a Ford Fiesta kind of fast. It's been 3 months now since I've been running this exchange, and as you might have guessed, I'm 99% sure that I'm going to sell my trusty iPad mini and go all in on an iPad Pro. That is, unless Apple have got plans to stick an M-series chip in this thing and also give the screen a massive upgrade. Well, that would be interesting. But according to reliable rumour, it's just going to be a very small spec bump, if anything at all, so I think it's time to say goodbye to the mini for now. Beyond shiny object syndrome, the iPad Pro has actually been great to use so far, and it's slotted really neatly into all my workflows. Now, could I have done some of these things with the new iPad Air models? Maybe, probably, but this screen really is something else, and combined with the new Apple Pencil and the keyboard setup, it's helping me do all kinds of things that I didn't think would be possible on an iPad. Over to you now, folks. What do you think? Have you been thinking about moving from one of the non-Pro iPads like the Mini, Air, or just iPad and switching up to one of the Pro models? Let me know in the comments below. And in the meantime, if you're looking for a bunch of unusual ways to use your iPad, regardless of the model you've got, I bet you'll like this video over here. I'll see you next time.